can you tell us what is the minimum credit hours that's required for you to graduate from a master's degree program in University of Regina, if you want to be specific as well?
So it's dependent on your program,
Okay.
so from the types of masters you take.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But ideally, what's the minimum is 30 credit hours. Like I mentioned before, you have 8 classes to graduate, and each of those 8 classes are 3 credit hours.
Mm-hmm.
So you take,
Eight.
which is 24,
Okay,
plus
8
6
times
credit
3.
hour plus 6 credit hours for your project. But if you take a co-op, then you're looking at 42, I believe.
Okay. So one thing that we also got to discover while talking was that in the University of Regina, they have a co-op masters, right?
Yes.
Co-op masters project
And thesis.
and thesis masters. In some universities, not all universities in Canada offer co-op. I've said this one on my channel a lot of times, that not every university in Canada offers a co-op program. So for those universities that offer this program, then you're going to count that. I just wanted to emphasize on that, or put that out there just so you guys know. Okay, so as Kinea said, 30 credit hours. That's if you don't do a co-op, right?
If you don't do a co-op.
But
yes.
if you do a co-op program, then you're going to add 6 credit hours
Yes.
to that.
No, 12.
12 credit hours to that. So
Yeah.
why is it 12, not 6?
Yeah, for each of the work term. So if you
Okay.
do a 2 work term co-op,
Mm-hmm.
so each of the work term is 6 credit hours, which makes it 12.
Okay, so the work term is just the co-op. It's just the terminology that is different, right? And you can decide to, because for us undergraduates, we have to do 4 co-op work terms if you eventually get to do a co-op. So for masters, you're required to do just 2.
You can do 2, 1,
Yeah.
dependent on you.
Yeah, 2 or 1. You cannot do 3.
You can do 3.
Exactly. So that's 2
can't do
work
3.
terms, and you can do 1 or you can do just 2. Okay, perfect. Sweet. So let's go on. The next question I have here.
I've lost my question.
You guys, can you chip in that part where you have to apply? You need a CV to apply.
Okay, something I forgot to mention earlier. So one of the documents you need to apply for your master's degree, because the idea of a master's degree is you should have had a little bit of work experience before, so you should always add your resume as part of your application document. Actually, most universities, they will state the documents they require for you, so that will guide you in what documents you are supposed to bring for your application process and the review of your application.
Oh, okay. So it's always just good to check with your university. If you're applying for any university, go to their website, do your own work. I know that people just like when people just throw and give you, but
It's never the case.
it's never. Yeah, exactly.
Everybody is different.
It's different.
Every
school.
program is different.
Yeah.
So
and
you
school.
have to really, like, it probably took me about a whole month to actually do my research on what school I want to go to.
You see?
So that's why sometimes when someone sends me an email or a message that which school I should go to, I'll probably think like, this person, he really doesn't want to come. He's just exploring.
Right.
But if you see someone who is serious, who wants to come for a master's degree, when you talk to the person, you would know, because the person would be giving you schools, these are the benefits of, you'll know that the person has done his homework.
Okay.
Because Canada is wide, with lots of schools and with lots of different programs, but they differ a little bit from one another.
Absolutely.
I personally chose University of Regina because it offered the co-op program, which I saw as beneficial because it's going to help me integrate into the workforce.
Exactly right. 100%.
So all these things, someone who is coming to Canada for a master's degree should have at least done his or her research, before contacting someone here in Canada for advice.
Yeah. But as people, the way some people are just, I don't know.
Yeah, is what
They're just like that.
It is what it is, but like I meant,
it's advisable to just
they
try and
are
do some
great.
research.
Although it's difficult to do research, but one great resource, and I don't know if it's still existent, at least for Nigeria, is Nairaland.
Oh, Naira.
Like
Nairaland.
Yeah, when I left Nigeria, Naira Land was in part 11. And I probably read it from part 1 to part 11. That's probably reading a whole maybe 300-page book. You know, because like in Naira Land, you get everything. You can ask your question, someone will reply to you. So if you read that, you will have a very good understanding of the Canadian.
So let's go to the money part. How
the interesting part.
Exactly, so the interesting part, because even though we're talking, some people are like, well, how much now, bro? How much? Why did you choose this? Was it that cheap? You know, all of those questions. So, how much does the master's program in your cost? Because you applied for engineering, right? But if you have an idea also of how much some of the programs cost, tell us, or you can just stay with engineering if you know.
It's for me, like I'll just say what I know.
Okay.
For me, my master's degree probably cost maybe $30,000.
That's for the whole program.
Yes, for the whole program. 30, maybe 30, about 30. I think maybe plus or minus
30.
2,000 on either end.
Okay.
So it could either be 32, it could either be 28, but it's around that 30,000 figure.
$30,000. That's so cheap, oh, compared to us.
Yeah, you're doing undergrad now. Just do the ratio. How many classes did you need to take? How many credit hours?
I had to take 136.
But if you multiply the 40 credit hours times 3,
120.
that's 120,000 if you are supposed to take, and that's not even up to 136. That's only 120 credit hours. So did you pay up to $120,000 for your undergrad? Oh wow, okay. I should start in school.
Yeah, like just be with myself and Corey did the calculation. We're like, yeah, we're roughly around there, you know. But anyways, let's just move on. So yeah, you said $30,000, right? So for every in a year of VAR, for us, we have to pay per course, and I'm supposing that's the same for masters, right?
Yes.
So and at the time you came, how much was it?
To be honest, I can't remember. I can't remember.
You cannot remember shit.
But I know, like, technically you
30,000 anyway. So
yeah,
$30,000.
yeah.
So can you tell us? So with your tuition having, you say your tuition was $30,000. So how were you able to come up with a bank statement that was able to give you a study permit or for your application to be approved? So because everybody has this question of, how do I, my bank statement? I don't know if this is what I need. We have those questions going on there. So how can you enlighten someone who has that same issue on how to get their bank statement to tie in with their tuition fee?
My own case is peculiar, so I'll leave it out of the equation.
100%.
However, the ideal thing is you don't necessarily have to have the whole 30,000 in an account sitting. Actually, it's it can be sensed as a negative. So what you need is a year's tuition and a year's living expense. So that's basically what you need in your account. So if your tuition for a year is $10,000, you need an additional $10,000 for living, books, and accommodation.
So I've always said this on my channel that if you're doing your bank statement, that's the minimum that you need. You can go above, right?
Yes.
But if you don't necessarily have to go out of your way to get a bank statement of maybe 50 million or how many million. Just do the minimum, because some people want to be extra, but because some things they can be like red flags,
Yeah,
like, you go and pull out the bank statement of maybe 100. Calm down. Do not.
If you have it, fine.
And you can prove the source of that income.
Yeah, but what a lot of people do is they go borrow, and put it there. It looks big at the time, but forgetting, and that's why they ask for 6 months back statement. Because you have to show cash flow for 6 months. So imagine the cash flow on that account has been give or take 200,000 naira. Then all of a sudden 10 million naira entered the account and sat down for 2 weeks. It's
Red
fishy.
Flag. Yeah.
It's fishy. Like
red flag.
But if the account has or
cash
consistently 10 million
Yeah.
over the last 6 months, then
Yeah.
10 million is in the account. You
Yeah.
can't go and remove it because you,
Yeah.
you want to just have
100%. So ideally, if you have a plan of coming, just start planning your money
ahead.
ahead, so that it's going to just make so much sense that
Yeah.
okay, you have this money, you're consistent with it, cash flow coming in and out. There's no money that just came in boom at one time at one.
Actually, that's a whole conversation.
Yeah, for another day.
Yeah.
If you're interested, we can have a video on that one, but to bring this guy here is a problem. Okay, so tell us, is there any age limit for any for a master's program?
As long as you can study. If you like whole walking stick, because nobody really cares. Like, you can be as young as, you can be as old as long as you are fit to take on because I would like, one thing people don't understand is how intense the Canadian education system is. Sometimes it's an argument I have with people. Like, I see people go UK and back first class. Canada, I can count that. They don't even look at GPA so much.
Yeah.
As long as you have the knowledge, I think
Yeah, that's true.
because it's really intense. It's really intense. People don't understand. It's very intense.
The next question I'm going to ask is, I know that while you were taking your master's program, you had the opportunity to work, right? So how were you able to balance your work and school life, knowing that you had to work, pay your tuition? Were you also able to pay your tuition by yourself? So let's just touch on that. So somebody out there who is thinking, am I going to be able to pay my tuition? Or if you pay your tuition by yourself, or maybe you have so much money.
Amen.
So yeah, let's talk about that. How you handled your tuition, how you balance work and school together, and how you're able to successfully, complete that program without stress.
It's a lot. It's very challenging. Like, I do tell people, like, working, because you are limited to only 20 hours a week. 20 hours is not enough to actually even for your living expense for a whole month.
Is too small.
So coupled with the fact that you have to pay tuition, you have to go to classes, you have to complete projects. So it's really, intensive. But like, you just have to reduce how you live. Like, if you were living if you want to live in a single bedroom apartment, maybe you might want to consider sharing with someone to reduce your cost. Because you have your tuition to pay.
Yep.
So those type of, leveraging, are what will help you pay the tuition, because it can really it's expensive.
It's a lot of money, honestly. And some people say they think it's not doable. It is doable if you cut down on certain expenses, because a lot of times when we come out here, we want to live large. We want to kind of impress. Social media is oppressing us, and we feel they need to, try to be up there, or to show that we're living good. But meanwhile, that's not the reality of the things here, right? So you want to also consider that, and then also try to work very hard. Try to get like a second job. Did you have to get a second job?
Like, I wanted to even say that,
Okay.
in the summer, like when we did, I think it was even while I was in school, they started that summer classes weren't mandatory anymore. I can't remember that. Well, like in the summer, like you can work as much as you want, and you still not be violating your study permit. So, like, I find a lot of people take on 2 full-time jobs, maybe one in the morning, one in 9 to 5. One in the midnight. So you just probably sleep a couple of hours, but at the end of the day, that's how you pay your tuition, because during the actual course curriculum, like when you're the normal semester, you will not have the opportunity to work 2 jobs outside school. Like, there are ways you can do it, but that's another.
Don't quote us.
Yes. There are ways people get around with all these things, but it's not the ideal thing to do.
It's not the ideal thing to do.
So yes, so where you actually make the bulk of your tuition is during the summer period.
Yeah.
If you can get maybe 2 high-paying jobs.
2-3 jobs. If I did it, you can do it.
We did it.
Yeah, exactly. If you did, and also get a job on campus, because when you get a job on campus, you can work full time. I did housekeeping, I did RA and all of those things, so I was able to work, full time and to make tuition as well as the co-op program. So is it difficult to get a co-op? Do you think is it hard to get into? Would you advise somebody to take a co-op program, or just finish your school and be going?
It depends. It depends. Like, if you are someone who has so much experience back in your home country, you might not necessarily need the co-op program. You just fit in. Like every other thing, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
Because there are lots of people. Everybody wants to make the money. Everybody wants to learn a new skill. So a lot of people are applying. So it can a little bit be challenging. However, the school have resources to help you with your resume. They will not help you apply for the job.
Yeah, they will not help you do that
but
yourself.
they will help you
Yeah.
do your resume.
Yeah.
They will prepare you for an interview, so give you a better chance of getting the job. However, like, it's all about a case by case basis. Some people, like, if I had a lot of experience back in Nigeria, I'll probably not have taken the co-op. But since I was without so much experience, the co-op was a good way for me to break into the Canadian market.
Oh, Canadian workforce, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Next thing, I like that. That's how we're breaking into Canadian workforce in this place. So yeah. How are you able to balance your work and school life? Let's touch on that.
You just have to burn your midnight oil. It's never easy. Like, I complained a lot.
Yeah.
Because you find, and I did mention before, it's pretty intense. So imagine when you just start a new class that you don't really understand the scope, and from the first week they're already telling you should get a project topic. So the project topic is actually telling you that, go and do your research, see what projects are available in this course subject matter, and come up with a topic that you
Is that how it is?
Yes, that's how how a lot of people, you just have to spend extra hours studying, like,
and you have to prioritize. I think that's also very important.
You have to prioritize,
because definitely while working, right, you want to work at the same time you want to study. It's going to be hard if you initially, and you're going to find it hard to get that work, to establish that balance, because definitely you might be putting more time into one and then neglecting the other, but that's not really what you want to do. But you're trying to find that balance, right? So I'm going to just say prioritize, just so that at the end of the day, what you came here for is for school. A lot of times you go to work and people will tell you to stay work an extra hour. But if you know that you have that, you're lacking behind one course, you have to put it together and say, okay, which one do I need to do first? Which one is more important to me or something? In case you're owing rent, or you don't have money, if your rent never completes, you can stay and do that
extra hour.
Stay and do that extra hour so that you get your revenue, they don't kick you out for your house, that kind of thing. But at the same time, if you do that, you know that you're going to sacrifice your sleep.
Yeah, it's priority.
And then you catch up with
it's
your
priority
with your
and lots of coffee.
Exactly. Coffee is your friend.
Like you will not sleep.
Yeah.
You will not sleep the regular 8 hours. You'll probably be getting only 4 hours of sleep, because you need to work, you need to study. You have things to do, so it's.
And you definitely miss classes, 100%.
To be honest, some classes they take
and
attendance.
I think for masters, they're keen on that.
Yeah, they take attendance for some classes.
I've heard a lot of people say things like, for master, you're doing a master's program, you have to always have like 70%, you cannot have below 70. Is that true? Why is that so? And if you can touch on that, that would be great.
Yes, definitely. For the master's program, at least in engineering, which I can speak to, you have to maintain a 70% CGPA. If so, anything below 70 is a fail.
Like you failed the course.
Yes, you failed the class.
Even if you have 50%.
50%.
50% of 100.
Yes, you have failed the class. So every class you have to maintain 70%.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. So and when you're below 70%, 69 is a fail. And when you have that 2 times, you are advised to leave the country because you can't maintain.
To leave the course or the country.
So if you're an international student, so when you fail 2 times, at least you I think it's pretty much in every school. For
I think I'm not just saying because I know they fail.
You see this one.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, like I've not heard that, but I've not heard of it. I've heard of people who have been asked to withdraw from the program and probably switch to another program, which they think might be better for them, but not like, go back to your country.
I think so. So when you fail 2 classes, you're being asked to withdraw from the program. And I don't know if you are being advised to take another course, but from what I've seen is, when you're being asked, you can't maintain your status in Canada when you're not registered. So most often it's pretty much go back to your country.
Oh my God, that's going to be terrible. So please, nobody should fail. Everybody just be passing. Make sure that you're up there. Keep the flag up there. So another question I'm going to ask Ine is about accommodation. Were you able to apply for accommodation before you got to Canada, or when you got to Canada, that's when you got accommodation?
So for me, I was able to get accommodation before I came to Canada, and one key thing is you just have to read. There are many groups, forums out there. Like fortunately, when I was coming to Canada, I joined one forum that had a whole bunch of Nigerians, had a whole bunch of Indians on it. And fortunately for us, we were only coming to University of Regina.
University of Regina for the win.
So I was happy. So I met a Nigerian lady who was already in this, who came before me. We were all supposed to come at the same time, but visa and all that, so I postponed my resumption. So she was here before me, so I was able to talk to her. She helped me secure a place. Then, so on coming down from the airport, I knew
I
already had a place I was moving into.
Yeah.
So it's all about how much you're willing to get out there, join forums.
So you did not stay on campus? You had to
No, I did not stay on campus. I personally didn't want to stay on campus.
What are your thoughts about
old man like me staying on campus?
But what are your thoughts about living on campus? Would you advise somebody to say, okay,
staying on campus is always a better option because the libraries are there at your disposal. Your classes are there. You can wake up from sleep and you're running to class. But like staying outside school where you have to take the bus or walk to school. So staying in campus is always going to be a better option, but it's a little bit more pricier. So if you have the money and you don't mind being in a space where it's just all students, definitely take a shot at it. But personally, I did not want to stay on campus.
I stayed on campus about
Story.
Anyways. So now, last question. I've been saying last question, but anyways, let's squeeze out what we can squeeze from here, okay? Let's talk about scholarships. Some people say for and I don't know if this applies. This master's program is going to be similar to PhD programs.
No.
It's going to be different, I guess, based on the fact that a PhD is probably like a research thing, and you have to have a professor that will probably have to accept you or something, right? Okay, let's talk about scholarships. Do you think for graduate students? So I've talked to some of them, and they said they got like scholarships when they applied. Is it easy to get a scholarship in the University of Regina for a master's program? Like fully funded or partially funded, whatever.
So it depends on what master's program you mentioned.
Okay.
Like you mentioned PhD, which is kind of higher than masters. So, but masters we have a thesis-based masters. So, and something that we didn't mention before, thesis-based masters. Before you apply, it's always recommended you touch base with a supervisor that is willing to accept you into his program, and that communication with him, he will tell you if he has funding for your research or not. So that funding can be used towards your scholarship for your research.
Oh, is that how it is?
Yes, but the downside is that thesis-based masters is a little bit difficult to come by. because you are almost sending professors emails. What you tell them what your interests are, how your interest aligns with his interest before he's willing to accept you.
100%.
And that could be a very
Yeah.
lengthy process.
Yeah.
So the easier process is maybe come with co-op or come with project based. Then you can transition to thesis. Project based and cost and co-op. Like I think if you come during fall, I think there's probably $1,000 off your tuition. I think it's automatically added. But getting a scholarship.
But I think some programs, like it's a friend of mine, I think she had like a scholarship for a master's or something.
Was she an international student?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe.
But I don't know. That's the thing. Some people will not tell you the whole detail. They'll not tell you the whole story, And from what me I know, a lot of times that you see scholarships on the University of Regina website, it's probably like $1,000 off, $500 for international students, but for permanent residents, Canadians, is different. Sometimes you get like a whole lot of money, which it's nobody's fault, right? But that's from what I know. And scholarships in Canada are not as in the US, where you get like fully funded. The few fully funded scholarships in Canada are things like the Venier scholarship or whatever. I posted something on my YouTube thing. It's a post I did on that, and I saw some scholarships that I saw online. So you can check it.
I applied for scholarship during my master's. My aunt wanted to pay me.
I know, even me. I applied during my program. I was applying for scholarships, but a lot of them were, you have to be permanent resident.
I applied for Saxtel, everything. I applied for every single scholarship.
Yeah, because those scholarships like Saxtel, CBC, those companies, they come and they come to university and offer scholarships to students, right? And sometimes you meet the requirements, but I don't know.
I find the scholarships are a little bit hard.
Yeah.
So I think like the best way to just hope for the best. Do your
always still apply. You never know.
You never know. You could be the one.
Yeah.
I wasn't fortunate to be the one, so I pretty much paid my tuition out of. It was challenging, but scholarships are there are always numerous scholarships available in the school, but you just have to keep trying until you get one.
You guys, I think we have come to the end of this video. I basically know that this video is going to be so long, but I'm going to try to cut it as I can so it's not so lengthy. Okay. So, Kide, thank you so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you for spilling and sharing your knowledge with us or your experience with us. We do appreciate that 100%, and I do hope that you guys have taken, you have jotted things down to take things away with you. Okay. Okay. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. Thank you. Tell them, hit the button down below, okay, and share this video as well with your loved ones or anybody who has plans of coming to Canada, either maybe to University of Regina, to be more specific. We'll be very grateful for that, okay? And thank you so much. Until then, bye bye. Love you guys. Mwah.